Welcome to Wake Med Soccer Park. It is North Carolina and Washington getting set for kickoff. It is the fifth time these teams have squared off this season already. With Jen Cooper, Michael Watring, delighted to have you along for the ride here this evening as the NWSL kicks back off after the second international break for these two sides. It's the 20th all-time meeting between these two clubs. North Carolina has dominated the all-time series with 12 victories in that stretch. About time to take a look at the starting 11s for these two sides prior to this matchup. And we begin with a look at the North Carolina Courage, a 4-4-2 starting lineup for this group. Casey Murphy back with a side after that experience with the U.S. women's national team over the last few weeks.
And a few internationals still missing. Mike, you got Dabinia and Caroline about to play the Copa America final. We've got Matthias out on COVID protocol, and we have Jaylene Daniels opting not to play the match tonight.
On the other side for Washington for this contest here this evening, and the Spirits group for Coach Chris Ward in this contest. A 4-3-3 look. No Emily Sonnet for this match. No Ashley Hatch, who has scored in 5 straight meetings between the two sides. But still, it's good for the Spirit. They get 7 internationals back in the fold overall for tonight's contest.
Chris Ward has to feel good about having Kelly O'Hara, Trinity Rodman, Ashley Sanchez, Andy Sullivan back in that starting lineup. They have not won since May 1st, and they've played 4 games against North Carolina this season without getting a win. All of those games, close contests, 2 of them ties, 2 of them losses. It's going to be a great battle tonight.
Washington had beaten North Carolina in 3 of 4 meetings entering this season. And now it has completely flipped the script. A couple draws in the group stage between the two sides. The Cup final, a 2-1 win for North Carolina. And the last meeting came on June 11th, a 3-2 victory for the Courage here in this matchup tonight. What gives? These two teams are looking to get out from the bottom of the table, and the charge to the playoff line will be critical for these two sides. And if you're the Spirit, 7 draws, just 1 win, you know that it's go time for the defending champs.
Well, and it's a weird thing to say that you're leading the league in draws, but the Spirit they have been grinding out results in a way that I think is impressive considering how many of their internationals they were missing over the last month. I think it's also worth noting the Courage, they've only played 9 games to the Spirit's 13, so they're both at the bottom, but North Carolina has a lot more games to play to work themselves back into playoff contention.
Courage haven't played in 19 days. Last match prior to the final international break was postponed with Angel City due to COVID protocols, but here we go from North Carolina to start off this match. Let's see what gives here. This is a Washington team that is winless in 12 in a row. Prior to that, just 5 losses in the previous 34 competitions across all comps. So let's see if the Spirit are able to regain that form prior to this one. Good to have you with us for the match with Jen Cooper, Michael Watring, our entire crew. NWSL here on Twitch, and a fine night for action and a busy weekend in the NWSL kicking off right here, right now.
Aubrey Kingsbury getting a touch back in goal for the Spirit after spending time with the national team for the CONCACAF W Championship. Before she departed, Michael, she had not started a game for the Spirit since August 2018.
Devin Kerr did well filling in, picking up a clean sheet in the team's last match, a 0-0 draw with Orlando.
And here we've got to look at Ryan Williams stepping in for Merritt Mathias on that outside right back. It's so rare in NWSL play to not see Merritt Mathias in a starting lineup. So second start of the season for Ryan Williams.
North Carolina wearing the blue uniforms for this one. Courage's Pride Night, hosting their inaugural Pride Festival prior to the match.
And you may be wondering, hey, it's July, it's almost August. Why is it Pride Night? Well, they only had one home game in June, and that was the Juneteenth match. And this game would have been, the Pride Night game would have been 2 weeks ago. That game got postponed. So Pride Night, finally, for the Courage.
Good cause for celebration here at Wake Med Soccer Park. See the all-pink uniform for Casey Murphy,
who's also back from international duty. She actually got a couple games in the CONCACAF W Championship.
There's a long ball sent forward in the middle of the yard. Ordonez. Pickett overlaps. Header cleared. And Rodman will track it down.
Pickett always so great with those crosses from the outside.
It's a good attack here early from the Courage. Williams tees it up. Some Pickett will track it down. Flies it right back in, and an empty header in space over the top of the bar from Pinto, 21-year-old who scored in May. Here's your coach, Sean Nahas.
This is his first official season as head coach. He was acting head coach, of course, at the end of last season. Longtime member of this coaching staff and in the Research Triangle kind of youth soccer community.
The team's getting that extra little bit of break, certainly helping everybody reset, but these players excited to be back on the pitch.
Yeah, everybody had a break. Well, rather, no games were played last weekend to kind of give internationals some time to get back. But North Carolina having that game postponed the previous week, I wonder how that extra little break helped them reset.
As you mentioned, North Carolina still missing some big pieces. Minya and Carolyn still missing. They'll be back shortly. Washington nearly at full strength. Miquillon to lay it back. Instead, an interception, but Sanchez flies it forward. Couple redirections and cleared away. Miquillon the first chance. Rodman the second. North Carolina dodges an early chance.
So much traffic in the box, I was thinking that was going to go in.
Expect a better tempo. This is a Washington team that has scored in the first half just 4 times this year. But this one latches on to Radcliffe, and it's a superlative slide tackle from O'Hara, the veteran defender, saving the day with Radcliffe getting open in the box.
Radcliffe with her trademark orange ponytail taken down by O'Hara. Classic tackle from the 2-time World Cup champion.
Kingsbury mishits that. It goes out for a throw.
Helferty trying to keep that in with her head. And there's a look at Chris Ward. He was on an amazing streak when he took over for the Spirit last fall. Did not lose for all of his 2021 tenure. Of course, we're not counting the 2 forfeit losses. Did not lose through the Cup until the Cup final.
He mentioned a couple weeks ago, and had a chance to speak with him, that you can't rely on the results of last season. And not frustration, but certainly wondering what it's going to take for his team to get over that hump. It's quite the drought without a win, but 7 draws in the regular season. Here's Ratcliffe again. Running into Staub this time around. O'Hara the last to touch, and a corner coming up for the Courage here in the 7th minute.
Ratcliffe causing trouble again, and she had a goal in North Carolina's last game, the 2-2 draw at Chicago. Here, Ryan Williams threading that ball up to her. Ratcliffe trying to fight around Staub, but Staub manages to clear that ball for a corner.
So it'll be Carson Pickett. Pickett trying to create some space in that corner.
Need the field staff to pull back those signboards.
Pickett plops it into the air. Ordonez, I think, the first to touch that header. Instead, it'll come back to Speck. Flag was up. Not initially whistled, but offside the call. Kaylee Kurtz.
Kurtz with 2 goals this season. A center back. Leads the team in minutes this season. I feel like she's really blossomed into your hardcore, reliable defensive starter. You know, a draft pick in 2018 who took some time getting into the starting lineup. I mean, face it, this is a hard lineup to break into. But you can see what that development over seasons can do for a young player.
Last time these teams met, she had the latest stoppage time goal for the club this year. 2nd minute of stoppage time proved to be the game winner, a 3-2 victory for the Courage. Sanchez, the target, let it fly by, and it's cleared out. Spirit have only won 1 time here on the road against North Carolina in 8 prior treks. That coming last October. Julia Rotter, who is still out with an injury, had the game winner in the 70th minute.
All part of that big run last fall where they did not lose after Chris Ward took over. And I like Ward saying you can't look at last season. I know whoever wins the next season, they've got the target on their back, and it's so hard in this league to produce results over and over and over, especially when you have injuries, international absences, etc. But what I love about the parity in this league, no one's out, right? Sure, you can say, oh, Washington and North Carolina, they're at the bottom of the standing. It's like, that means little until we get to the end of the season. Especially with North Carolina having played so few games.
As it stands right now, just a couple results away from getting back above the playoff line. Rodman trying to make the run between a couple defenders. It gets cleared out. Bailey. Spirit will reset. As it stands right now, the Reign would be the final team in, but tied in terms of points with Angel City and Orlando after their struggles. They're sitting right in a decent position. 13 points. And you know that either of these 2 teams here this evening feeling as if they can walk out of here with 3 points. They ignite this second half run of the season to make that playoff push.
And at this point in the season, you know, once we have Davinia, Caroline, and the last few players out on international duty come back, there won't be any other periods where you're missing international players other than official FIFA breaks. And I think we only have maybe 1 game scheduled during a FIFA break, and it's a rescheduled game. So you've got teams getting like their rosters replenished, right? You also have some NTRs being upgraded to full contracts for the rest of the season, right? So I would feel like most of these teams should be coming like, all right, our players are back. We got some new blood. You know, there's plenty of time to get the points we need.
That was one of the conversations that Chris Ward spoke of during that international period. The talent is growing in this country and in this league. Here's a cross that goes towards the back post, out of the reach of a couple of her teammates. And a goal kick coming up. Good atmosphere here at Wake Med Soccer Park. Watching this one with you. One of 2 games here this evening. Portland and Racing Louisville coming up here shortly.
So much great women's soccer history at this facility that opened 20 years ago. First ever game here, Michael, was a women's pro soccer game. It was the Carolina Courage of the WSA hosting and winning the first game here. We've seen CONCACAF games here, U.S. Women's National Team friendlies, lots of college cups, and of course the 2019 NWSL final.
Beautiful stadium to watch a match. And fans hoping to be treated to 3 points, but that's a nifty pass from Rodman. Baggett. Her pass intercepted.
Love Denise O'Sullivan getting back and doing the dirty work. She's such a tough midfielder, but her size doesn't say that to me, right? First time I met her in person, I'm like, she's so tiny, but she is such a tough midfielder. And every now and then surprises us with an amazing goal like she did last month against Houston.
5-4 out of Ireland. Here's a good switch at field and a lot of real estate over here for Speck. Carson Pickett. The right foot this time around. Pinto. Couldn't quite tame it.
Pinto back in her home turf. You know, played at University of North Carolina. Drafted by Gotham last year, traded to the Courage this season, and she's from Cary. So that must be so great to play at home.
Yeah, anytime you can come home and
your whole family's there?
yes. The only problem, I guess, is you have to worry about getting enough tickets for everybody to spread around. We're in the 15th minute, scoreless so far. 10th time these teams have met in the last 2 years.
And 5th time just in, what, 4 months?
Yes.
You know, it just happened that, of course, they were in the East group for the Challenge Cup, so they faced each other twice, and that they both made it to the Challenge Cup final. Spirit making it to the semis by the thinnest of margins, by goal differential, and then getting to the final on penalty kicks. So the chances that these teams have met this many times, it's amazing. And it's been a lot of meaningful matches too, right? Because Washington eliminated North Carolina in the playoffs last fall. Now you've got the North Carolina Challenge Cup win. Like, they got to hate each other, right?
There's definitely has to
be.
In
a sporting way. In a
right.
sporting way.
Yes. There's that familiarity between the two that certainly, I think, maybe a little bit of revenge with North Carolina winning the Challenge Cup final after the elimination last year.
There's a look at the Spirit captain, Andy Sullivan, one of the many internationals back from the CONCACAF W Championship. And one of many, many first-round picks on this Spirit roster. They have gotten so much amazing talent out of the draft over the last couple of seasons. Which is why they're the youngest roster in the league.
9 first-round picks, more than any other team in the NWSL. 2 number-1 picks, including Sullivan and Sonic, who is not in the lineup this evening. Ordonez couldn't quite slow it down, so he's getting pushed a little bit. Not win that argument.
Speaking of draft picks, Ordonez, a 2022 pick, left Virginia early to declare for the draft, and we're still in single digits when we're talking about players that are leaving college early to come to NWSL, but I think we're going to see more and more of that. She's had a great first half of her pro season. Also, you know, now getting capped with Mexico, seeing a few goals.
Well, I think that's one of the things about this league and the transformation of professional women's soccer. in general that has really happened is you're in a position where maybe 10 or 15 years ago, a lot of players, the ultimate goal was just playing in college, getting that degree, and moving forward. And now it's become an opportunity where you can make a very good living. You can make a very good impact for your future by playing professionally, and those pioneers of the early portions of the NWSL working out well. Keown's shot gets blocked, and a corner kick coming up for the Spirit.
And opportunities not just in NWSL but elsewhere. And I like seeing that some of the younger NWSL players that aren't necessarily getting minutes, especially rookies, we're seeing them being not transferred, but loaned out to European clubs so they can get some time, get some minutes. Keown taking that shot. Kurtz bumping off Kurtz for the corner. And I'm betting it's Staub taking the corner. Yet she takes all the corners. She leads the league in corners this season. And Staub, with this game tonight, she is setting a new club record for consecutive regular season games played. She is beating Christine Nairn's record. Nairn, who was with the Spirit several years ago.
This punch comes from Murphy. Cleared back in, cleared away. 60th consecutive match for Sam Staub.
And that's every possible regular season match since she joined the club.
Durability, without question. The 4 overall picks, speaking of the first rounders the Spirit team have, that was back in 2019. This ball flies out. It'll be a throw for the Spirit, but deep inside of its own territory. Berkeley grew up in Ohio, played at Florida State.
One of many Seminoles in NWSL. Speaking of the Seminoles, the Washington Spirit hired her former college coach, Mark Krikorian. He's now director of football operations or vice president of football operations, you know, whatever fancy title you want to get, but he's now working for the Washington Spirit. Full circle for him because he used to coach in WSA 20 years ago. He wasn't always a college soccer coach.
They built a dynasty down there in Tallahassee with that Florida State program. Brian Penske has since taken over, former Tennessee head coach. So far here, roughly 20 minutes into the match. No score thus far. We have had 5 combined shots, 3 from the Spirit, 2 from the Courage. Ball gets played along. Casey Murphy will get another crack at it. Last year, tied the NWSL record with 11 clean sheets. There's 1 so far this season. Pinto. Kingsbury waits for it. Possession's been about even here in this contest. Same in terms of passes. There really haven't been as many pushes towards the box. Overall, been a fairly even match. These two teams feeling each other out, and it's not like there can be a whole lot of wrinkles that you can throw at a team when you're seeing them for the 5th time in the last 4 months. Berkeley has some space. Good spin here from Ratcliffe. Carson Pickett into the box. Flag up, though, for offside. It's good to see Carson Pickett get her U.S. Women's National Team debut on June 28th against Colombia.
And then come back to the team and get her first ever NWSL goal after providing so many assists over the years.
Coming against the Red Stars. Helferty foul whistled. Fans will not like that one.
Jordan Baggett back at Wake Med Park for the first time since that incident at the end of the Cup final that left her out on the injured list for several games. But so it comes full circle. She's got to feel good to be back. And I love that in her first game back from injury, she scored a goal.
Rodman. There is Baggett making a run. Still in possession. Helferty. This attempt from Baggett. Wide right. Yeah, you like that presence, though, by the 25-year-old from Colorado. Had the initial opportunity off of the header, but this time around took a swing at it. Not a bad decision there.
Anna Helferty doing some good work on that end line to keep the ball in, serving it over to Baggett. A little high. Baggett, one of many Stanford grads that ended up at the Spirit, along with Sam Stubb, Andy Sullivan, Kelly O'Hara. It's a big Stanford conclave.
From one coast to the other. Rodman. Pass forward for Baggett. Couldn't control, however. Urseg.
Urseg, longtime captain of this squad, one of the few players left on the roster that moved with the team from Western New York Flash to North Carolina when Steve Malik bought the club in 2017. My favorite description of Urseg is that she's the catalyst of the team.
So it appears as if we have some weather in the area, and we will have to pause the action. About 24 minutes in the books between the Courage and the Spirit. I see one or two fans with the ponchos out and the rain jackets as well. But we're going to pause here in play.
Ladies and gentlemen, at this time we are closing the playing field and seating area.
And the players will head back to the locker room for safety as well.
Seating area at this time. And you can follow us on Twitter.
Wait 19 days of the Courage's perspective to play a match here at home. You're all excited. You get 24 minutes in, you're into the groove, and you have to step off the field because of the weather in the area.
We'd like you to move your vehicles if you're going to wait for the game to resume. That's where the fireworks
We are in a weather delay here at Salem Stadium at Wake Med Soccer Park in Cary, North Carolina. And we'll take cover as well. Weather delay. Stick with us. Bring you the action as soon as we can resume between North Carolina and Washington. I'm guessing we'll be in about a 30-minute delay. Stick with us. We'll have updates for you coming up here. This is the NWSL on Twitch. The rain has cleared, the lightning has stopped, and we're just about ready to return to action here in North Carolina. A 0-0 tally as it stands right now. We've played 24 minutes of action. Back with Jen Cooper, I'm Michael Watrang. I asked you during the break, what's the longest weather delay that we've had in the NWSL? And your answer, Jen, is?
June 2018. Washington Spirit at home, not in North Carolina. A game that kicked off at 3:30 p.m. and finished about 10:30 p.m. But we don't want to go back there. This one's going to finish in, 70-some minutes?
Well,
I can't do the math.
If it's about 10:30 p.m. again, I think that we'll be all right, and we'll be happy to go on with the rest of our nights. But we were all amped up, ready for the NWSL to return to action. We got 24 minutes in, a solid back-and-forth pace, 7 total shots, 5 from the Spirit, 2 from the Courage.
That was the amuse-bouche, and now we're ready for like the real meal.
Yes.
Yeah.
The amuse-bouche. What is that?
Amuse-bouche. So it's like amuse the mouth. Think it's French.
Gotcha.
So, yeah. So it's
Gotcha.
lighter than an appetizer.
I am not as cultured as you are, apparently.
Well, I'm sure all of our international fans are cultured,
Yeah.
or at least pretend to speak French. And we're so excited for all of you international fans that are still watching, because we know most of you are 6, 8+ hours ahead. So we appreciate if you're watching. We know this is still going to be a really tough match. I mean, I love the history between these clubs, especially when, North Carolina is one of our youngest clubs in the league, believe it or not. North Carolina, its first ever NWSL match was played against the Washington Spirit. So you have a lot of great history between these clubs. 2 knockout games just in the last, 10 months. So I don't consider this one to be any less of a battle.
20th all-time meeting. Carolina has won 12 of the first 20. And 6 of the 8 here at home. We're back to play. Officially set your watches. We're hit the 24-minute mark and have 66 more minutes to go here. And tough for the players as well. You get amped up. You go through all your pregame protocol. You get onto the field.
You eat at a certain time.
Yes, exactly.
You do fluids at a certain time.
Officially, it is a 65-minute delay in the first half of this match at the 23:57 mark. No shots on target yet, however, for either of these two sides. And that is very uncharacteristic of what we've seen from these teams this season, averaging a combined 4 goals per game, no fewer than 3 combined in any of the 4 previous meetings so far this season.
And, of course, North Carolina still missing Debinha and Caroline. They have the Copa America final tomorrow in Colombia, and then they will return. Washington getting all of its internationals back following the CONCACAF tournament in Mexico, but Emily Sonnet out with a foot injury. Ashley Hatch was listed as questionable on the injury report. She's not in the 18. And a few other kind of lineup reminders since we did have that 65-minute break. Merritt Mathias out with COVID protocol, so that's why we've got Ryan Williams, that outside right back position. Jaylene Daniels opting not to play this game. Havana Salon also came back from the CONCACAF tournament with an injury. But we do have both of our keepers back. The starting keepers, Casey Murphy for the Courage, Aubrey Kingsbury for the Spirit.
2 of the best keepers in the league over the last several years. Urseg. It's a giveaway. Baggett.
Yeah, Kingsbury getting MVP of the championship game as well as goalkeeper of the year last year, which was a little confusing when she wasn't on the best 11. And I know some leagues do that where the best 11 is separate from the best goalkeeper. But I gotta say for Casey Murphy, it stunned me that she wasn't one of those final keepers listed, having tied the single season mark for shutouts, going, I think it was nearly 600 minutes without allowing a goal, a stretch in August. But hey, voting is what voting is.
Doesn't take anything away from the skill set of both of these keepers so far, holding clean sheets.
And clearly Vlatko Nanowski thinking enough of these keepers are both, fighting to take some minutes away from Alyssa Nair on the national team.
Let's see if we have a goal in us here in the first half. Rodman the target of this ball. Murphy gobbles it up.
Rodman saying, hey, remember me?
There's still plenty of scoring pop on the field for the Spirit. Rodman in space. Rodman thought about taking aim. Nestles it down. Trinity Rodman. A corner kick coming up for the Courage, or for the Spirit rather. The Courage will be asked to defend. We didn't see prior to the delay a whole lot of Rodman in attacking positions, but that has changed here.
Sanchez taking it through. Rodman brings it into the box, tries to juke around Urseg, finally gets a hint of space but can't do anything with it. And of course, I'm sure it's Sam Staub over there. No, it's not Sam Staub taking the corner. Wow, that's changing it up. She's usually the corner kick taker for the Spirit.
Staub leading the league with 51 corners. Instead, it's Dorian Bailey. Header into the air by Miquion. Murphy corrals, ignites a counter. Foul will be whistled here, and it'll be more than that. It'll be a card as well. Dorian Bailey picking up the first of the match.
Radcliffe coming down that right flank. Bailey on her shoulder, push from the back. That's a pretty clear card. Thankfully for Bailey, it was not inside the box.
That was a great run from Brittany Ratcliffe. Playing collegiately at Pepperdine, 28 years of age, making that sprint all the way just outside of the 18 and setting up a dangerous set-piece opportunity here for the Courage. Courage team that has lost 5 straight regular season home matches since October 6th of 2021. Carson Pickett this time around as she decided to take aim at the cage.
And I'm glad you said regular season, because of course they won the cup final at home.
So what you're saying is they have won here this season.
Just not in the regular season.
Lost the 3 that they've played here, and a team that will, as we talked about earlier, a few matches in hand, and will have certainly more than enough opportunities to make a push above the playoff line. At the half-hour mark with Jen Cooper, Michael Watrang. To have you along for the ride with us. Come in, stay a while. Hopefully you utilize that lightning delay to get rested to watch the rest of this one. It's a great ball forward. Miquion in on goal. Miquion! Wide. Looking for her first career regular season pro goal.
Seemed like that was in, just inches off. Sam Staub, long ball from the back, over the shoulder of Miquion. Has no one in front of her except Murphy, but Murphy comes out, makes herself big, just enough to get that deflection, send that ball wide. Great play by Casey Murphy.
Can't draw it up any better on our first really good look of the match. It was an excellent ball forward as well. Speck is looking for Ratcliffe. She doesn't get there in time. But the Spirit give it right back. Pinto. Ordonez. Rodman does really well there defending. Williams. All white jerseys in that direction. This is how the last little run for Miquion started. This time, she has to hold it up. Rodman, a pirouette. Sanchez. It's fine defending there. It's a North Carolina team that is last in the league in shots on goal and corners, in a team that had led the league 3 consecutive years off of corner kicks. And
that was their bread and butter.
Yes.
But, you know, new coach, lots of player turnover. And we also have to factor in, Courage have played only 9 games before tonight, whereas Spirits played 13. So sometimes you have to look at the stats per game number. And that's why I'm not as alarmed that they've been sitting on the bottom. They haven't had nearly as many chances to pull in 3 points.
Sean Nahas believes as well. This team will get the opportunities here in the second half of the year. But having to deal with this Spirit side, hungry for a win. 90 days since the last time Washington has picked up a victory. 13 straight winless matches in all competitions, including a dozen in a row in the regular season.
And a streak like that can become a monkey on your back, right? So sometimes you just need it to be broken so you can move on, right?
It's a team that certainly hasn't felt that in a while. Was in great form last season under Chris Ward, winning the championship.
To me, just the fact that they made the playoffs having forfeited 2 games is amazing. And not just made the playoffs, but finished high enough to be able to host a playoff game.
Yeah, spectacular to be able to pull that off. Depth, the talent, certainly there, and with the players back, a league-high 7 with the U.S. women's national team during that last international call-up period. With those players back, I'm sure Spirit expecting a nice push here over the next month or so to get above the playoff line going into the stretch run of the season.
And they know they won't have any windows. They won't have any games again where they're missing their internationals. You should have Hatch and Sonnet back soon. And their schedule really spreads out now. Spirit has played more games than anybody else. They had a really crammed schedule to start the season. So they've got a really nice spread out schedule for the rest of the season, which hopefully can work to their advantage.
The one difficult stretch that you have to circle on the calendar at this point, a road trip to Angel City, and a few days later traveling to Kansas City. Now granted, you're probably not going to go all the way back
Hopefully not.
to DC at that point. A good chunk of home matches into the next window for the Spirit.
And unlike some NWSL teams, they're not involved in any late August tournaments, right? We have Louisville hosting the Women's Cup, which OL Reign will be part of. Of course, we have the Women's ICC, Portland is hosting, which, adds games to your schedule. Angel City hosting Tigres in a couple of weeks. That can be a momentum building friendly, or, depending on how things goes, it's the kind of thing that can drain your team.
About 10 minutes to go before halftime. Both sides still looking for a goal in this matchup. A Spirit team that only has 4 in the first half this year. He's leading the way in shots, 7-3 at this point. Best chance coming about 5 minutes ago. And Tara Miquion was in all alone against Casey Murphy, but Murphy did well to make herself big, shutting down the angle, and Miquion pushed it wide. Courage have done well in defense. Helferty really latched up to Miquion.
What I feel we haven't been seeing, Michael, is that dangerous Rodman-Sanchez combo, which they've seen a lot of success from those players combining. And it may be, not having Ashley Hatch out there, that, dynamic top runner who, creates havoc even if she's not putting the ball in the net. Maybe she makes more space for them. Kelly O'Hara, of course, always getting things done. I think her addition to the Spirit last year was one of those key pieces to how everything came together for them to find success in the final. They had a coaching change, which they, used to their benefit. They had a lot of frustrations with ownership that I think they used to bond. And then you have this great blend of talented youth and good veteran leaders.
When you have a player like O'Hara, time World Cup champion, 13th season as a professional as well, you bring that into, as we mentioned, 9 first-round picks. A lot of those have come in the last several years. Having that experience is a valuable piece and a big reason why this team was able to win the trophy last year.
And the picks are still with the club, right? These aren't first-round picks that they got from other clubs, that they're developing young players. And, you know, we've hit a point in the league's history where, you know, you have coaches know they have the luxury for that. I remember Laura Harvey saying last year that, you know, the first years of the league, she felt she didn't have any time to develop players. She had to get players that could perform immediately. And now it's a whole different landscape, like we were talking before the rain delay of you can sign young players and loan them out so they can get experience elsewhere. You've got bigger rosters. You know, the players know they've got more stability, more compensation to stay playing in the league.
The national team replacement players are no longer just there as placeholders. A lot of those are earning contracts throughout the rest of the season, earning contracts for the future as well.
It also gives them, even if they only get a couple of games, then you've got game tape that your agent can use to get you a contract maybe in Europe. And as we know, there's probably more expansion on the horizon. You know, then you're already a known within the league. So much back and forth in this game. I feel like it's a battle of the midfield. No one really getting into either 18-yard box.
Well, there haven't been as many entries in that region in this matchup. In fact, when you look at the touches inside the opponent's box, 10 for Washington, 4 for North Carolina. So that's to your point. We've had 10 total shots, but 14 touches in the box. That's a good slide tackle from Berkeley. The 24-year-old. Well, it starts with a very good run from Mikion.
Coming down that left flank, trying to get past Berkeley. What an expert sliding tackle from the former Seminole. Sure, you give up a corner, but you don't give up a goal.
This will be the third corner of the night for Washington. Bailey strikes it. Headed away. Amber Brooks. Redirect comes out.
Amazing how far up she is as one of the back line. Of course, she played as a midfielder for a lot of her pro career.
Well, her slide tackle wins possession. Rodman! 1-0 Spirit. Rodman ripples the rope. And on the road, Washington has the lead.
Crazy to think that all started with the center back trying to win the ball at the opposite end line. Brooks getting the ball from Ordonez. Sending it up to her teammates. A little bit of passing. Rodman gets the final touch, and what an excellent shot to the far corner, beating Casey Murphy. Excellent goal from Trinity Rodman.
You asked for it, the Sanchez-Rodman tally, and that's who links up there at the end. Sanchez took her time, a perfect pass right to Rodman, and it's the third of the season for the 20-year-old.
Like that smile on Rodman, that is. Neha's not smiling. I also liked in that play, Michael, that several players were getting a touch on that ball. So it wasn't one player making a run. It was a combination of, you know, incisive passes and getting that final explosive touch.
Well, this is just the third time in the last 13 matches that the Spirit have held a lead.
Wow.
The other two times were Louisville on June 14th and Orlando on May 27th. Both of those, they led 2-0. Both times it finished in 2-2 draws. And for a team that has not won in 90 days, let's see if they can play in a different spot, and that's holding a lead for the next 57 minutes. Flag goes up, slightly offside Sanchez. Can the Spirit hold this one out?
Well, looking back, you've got to go all the way back to the first Cup game of 2021 to see a game where the Spirit scored first and lost. And of course, that game was Trinity Rodman's debut, and she scored her first goal in that.
That was April 10th of 2021. It's a good turn. A nice pass forward. Ratcliffe wins it. Ratcliffe levels the terms. Brittany Ratcliffe stretches the strings, 1-0, and a quick response by the home side.
And that's goals in back-to-back games for Brittany Ratcliffe. She had one of North Carolina's 2 goals in the draw at Chicago. Ball from Kurtz to Denise O'Sullivan. Great slotted ball to Ratcliffe, who beats Staub, gets the ball off her right foot, past the on-rushing Kingsbury. Great response from the Courage to equalize so quickly and before halftime.
Just like that, North Carolina won, Washington won. Fantastic run there by Ratcliffe. She had to take the bodying of O'Hara to one side, Staub on the other. Ratcliffe with her second in as many matches. 1-1 is your score.
The fourth official has indicated a minimum of 1 minute of additional time.
Just 1 minute of stoppage time. Sanchez in the box. Well, this is more of the pace that we expect between these two sides. Murphy will not get there, and a header won. Washington is back on top in the blink of an eye. Murphy can't win the ball. Back and forth we go in the waning minutes.
Even the Washington bench has a look on their face like, did that just happen? And of course starts with Kelly O'Hara coming from the outside, floated ball. Beautiful header. Murphy coming for it, but not getting it cleanly. Mickey Oom, what a ball.
First career regular season goal. Last time she scored was almost 3 years ago with the U23s of the United States against France.
And we saw her before the break almost miss on what seemed like to be an open net. So that's got to feel good for Mickey Own. And it's right back at the other side, but there can't be much time left.
Well, fifth meeting this season, all 5 have featured at least 3 goals. And that's where we sit right now. Through a 65-minute weather delay, 3 goals in roughly 4 minutes. A corner kick from Pickett. Cleared out. And there's your first half whistle. And what a first half it was. 24 minutes, a 65-minute weather delay, and some fireworks at the end of the first half. You can't draw it up any better. What an exciting finish to the opening 45. Washington had scored 4 first half goals all season. They get 2 in 4 minutes, and the Spirit and Courage locked into a good one. 45 minutes in the books. What does the second 45-minute have in store for us? Stick around. We'll have the second half action with the Spirit leading the Courage 2-1. This is the NWSL on Twitch.
Take care of everyone in the family.
We welcome you back to Wake Med Soccer Park with Jen Cooper, Michael Watrang. If you blinked, you missed quite the end to the first half. We had 3 goals in the span of 4 minutes and 3 seconds. And it is Washington on top of North Carolina 2-1 as we take a glance at the stats from the first half. Between these two sides is possession favoring Washington, shot attempts favoring Washington. They seemed like they were the more threatening side, if not for Brittany Ratcliffe's nice run between 2 defenders. North Carolina wouldn't have anything on the board at this point.
But it's been a pretty tight match, mostly in midfield, lots of back and forth. And I feel like maybe both of our goalkeepers were just a little rattled by the break, maybe hadn't gotten back into the game mentally. But hey, goals on the board, we always love to see those. 3 goals so late in that half. We're happy for anybody who has stayed up in Europe or further afield to keep watching. Totally worth it. And it made me think, thinking of those crazy goals, you know, I'm sure everyone can visualize that amazing Alicia Russo goal, you know, from the England semifinal the other day. Well, hey, where did she play her college soccer? Right here in North Carolina. How's that for connection?
It's a perfect connection. It is a perfect connection, much like we saw with Rodman, Radcliffe, and Mikiona in that first half, the 3 goal scorers with the Spirit on top. 2-1 in the first 4 meetings this year. Washington had led for a grand total of 34 minutes. That happened in that April 23rd matchup in the group stage of the Challenge Cup, finished at a 2-all draw. Spirit are looking to snap a 12-match winless string. Flag will go up here for offside. 7 draws in that stretch, and twice they've let 2-goal leads slip through, finalizing a 2-2 tally.
And last 5 games these teams have played, Ashley Hatch has scored. She's not here tonight, so that streak ends. But I think it says something for this young Spirit squad where even with your leading scorer out, obviously, they've got so much young talent, finding other ways to score. So great to see Tara McKeown getting her first pro goal.
Here's a good ball forward. Can Rodman win the race? It is Murphy getting to it first, and perhaps a bit of a connection there between the 2 national team teammates. Rodman.
The fans calling for a red card. I don't think that's quite a red card.
Casey Murphy will get some medical attention here. Incidental contact on the run by.
Rodman making the run. It looks like she even tried to pull up her run and just her foot dragged a little bit. And, you know, that's kind of the risk of playing keeper. I know that from personal experience, and that's why her head is kind of curled up, right? So that she's taking that foot kind of in the forehead and not in the face.
Well, the other match happening right now, Portland leads Racing Louisville 2-1. Sophia Smith in the 7th minute opened the scoring. Chidiac getting on the board in the 29th minute to level the ground, but Sugita has since put the Thorns up 2-1 in the 74th minute. It's also 2-1 here in this second half. Handball will be whistled. Denise O'Sullivan, the guilty party, and a free kick coming up for the Spirit.
O'Sullivan, one of the few European internationals who was available this July because Ireland, the Republic of Ireland, that is, did not make the Women's Euro. But, of course, they still have a shot at qualifying for next year's Women's World Cup. Hard to believe we're less than a year out now from the first day of the 2023 Women's World Cup. And I bet we'll be seeing a lot of these players.
It's going to be an exciting World Cup next year. If this recent international window is any indication of that. Baggett was making the run. The Courage handle. But don't clear their lines with Baggett back in possession.
And it seems like Washington has come out of the locker room much more confident. Just like, yeah, we're back in this game. Sure, we gave up a goal, but we got right back in it. Feeling a good groove. No more weather delays.
Knock on wood.
Yeah. No changes for either team going into this second half.
Sanchez went down. Rodman and Sanchez with palms out, expecting a foul. No whistle.
You know, we got to give props to this crowd too, Michael, that they stayed around for what was longer than an hour delay.
It's a nifty build-up here. Ryan Williams will end up out wide, and there are reinforcements in the box. Pickett will deliver the service. It falls. Circling. A low shot that time around from Ratcliffe. Gets picked up. Kingsbury calmly controls, and Ratcliffe with a little bit of an eye roll, knowing she probably could have done better.
Great lofting ball from Pickett. Ratcliffe trying to thread the needle and find the goal. The ball ends up going straight to Kingsbury. Ratcliffe with North Carolina's goal tonight. First time for her in her NWSL career to score in back-to-back games. Granted, 3 weeks apart, but still back-to-back games.
2 goals. Also the first time she's had multiple goals in a year since 2018. The first time, or her first year with Utah. She's playing with that confidence right now. North Carolina team, very interesting year. They were 3-0-1 at home in the Challenge Cup, but they've lost all 3 regular season home contests.
Well, and I saw a lot of people talk about, oh, you know, the Challenge Cup tired out the teams that went to the final.
Miki Own's shot is gobbled up by Murphy this time around.
But I think one thing we didn't talk about very much during the Cup is, well, you only had 3 opponents. You played each opponent twice. So those results weren't necessarily indicative of how strong a team was, because you're only, especially when you think of the West group, where you had, you know, our stalwarts, Portland and Reign, getting the 2 expansion clubs, right? So going into the regular season was more like, okay, here's how you play against everybody, not just this really small sample.
Kingsbury had to release it quickly. It's an interception. Right on the doorstep is Ordonez. A poor giveaway from the Spirit, and for the second time in the match, the Courage overcome a goal deficit to pull level. It's 2-2.
You can see the frustration in Kingsbury's shoulders. Ordonez didn't seem to have to do much than just stand there. Weak pass from Kingsbury, intercepted by Speck. All Ordonez has to do is redirect that ball in front of the goal mouth. Doesn't matter that Kingsbury is stretching. Equalizer from Ordonez. That's got to feel good for a player coming out of the CONCACAF Championship with no goals and her team not qualifying for the Women's World Cup.
It is a 4th goal of the season, the new team leader for the 6th overall pick in the 2022 draft. And unfortunately for the Spirit, in a similar position, getting a lead and giving it back in the second half.
Yeah, the matches with North Carolina have, for the Spirit have been back and forth goal scoring, as opposed to the other games where Washington has scored multiple goals and not one. At least twice they've been up 2. And then in the second half, late in the second half, they've allowed a team to equalize. This is much more of a back and forth, peer-to-peer, I would say, kind of situation. And I'm sure both goalkeepers incredibly frustrated. There's always a little rust to be shaken off when you're coming back to your team. I would think it must be hard for Bledsoe. So she's been gone a month, but saw no game minutes. Whereas Murphy, she got some games. That's the challenge. Anytime internationals come back, you have the ones that are tired from playing and the ones that haven't had game minutes. And there's no substitute for game minutes.
And as you had mentioned, for Aubrey Kingsbury, she had started every single match since the end of August 2018. For
regular season match, yeah. There's one cup game this spring where they let Devin Kerr get some minutes and start. But right, she's just been, a rock in goal. That you have to develop those other keepers, right? You never know when you're going to need that backup.
Well, off the restart, nearly another giveaway. And Kingsbury very frustrated there. It was a free kick.
You could see it in her hands, like, what are you doing? Why are you sending it back to me?
It was a free kick along the sideline.
Like, let's chill. Let's send it forward. That's me lip reading. Staub's like, I hear ya. Yeah, thankfully they were not punished by giving up another goal for that one.
Sanchez sends Rodman forward. She gets an interception. Trinity Rodman! It's another flawless finish for Rodman. A brace for the 20-year-old. Speared her back ahead. What else can happen in this one? A third time that Washington has gone on top, and we have seen a fifth goal in the last 15 minutes.
Rodman getting past Kurtz. Plenty of space to get it off her right foot. Finds that slot between the near post and Murphy, and even Murphy getting a hand on it. Can't stop it. That shot is headed towards the back of the net. She's feeling good. And now I'm thinking, Michael, last time North Carolina played at home, they gave up 4 goals to Houston. They probably don't want to remember that, but,
Well, both of these teams are probably thinking about things that have happened over the last few weeks. You mentioned the goals given up by North Carolina the last time. You also have to think about the amount of times that Washington has played with a lead, conceded multi-goal leads. They haven't won a match in 90 days. And Trinity Rodman's brace has put the Spirit up for the third separate occasion. A 1-0 lead, a 2-1 lead, and now a 3-2 advantage.
And these fans are getting what they paid for.
Well, if you had to sit through a 65-minute delay, you might as well see some fireworks. And here's another giveaway. This leads to space. Radcliffe. Pinto.
And this is Trinity Rodman's first multi-goal game in the regular season.
She picked a fine time to do it. She's bookended her goal scoring. Here's Radcliffe. She wanted a foul against Sullivan. Instead, it'll just be a throw.
A nice clearance by O'Hara for it to just be a throw and not a corner.
Well, in the first 19 meetings in the series, the highest scoring game combined was a 6-goal effort in 2018. A 4-2 Carolina win. Williams, Rodman doing it all now. 2 goals and defensive work. Pinto drops it back. Pickett doing very well. North Carolina thinks we've tied it twice. Let's do it a third time. Here's the cross in. It takes a ricochet off of the post. North Carolina arguing that it should be a corner, and they do not win. But that one hit the left side of the bar. It's good combination play. Speck sending the ball in. Radcliffe got a piece and hits the outside of the bar.
And Bledsoe got to be thinking that that post for helping her out there.
Well, these two teams didn't get a shot on target for about the first 20 minutes. And now we have 9 combined. Washington with a lead in the category. And both of these teams' defense maligned at this point. And still a half hour to work with.
Gotham getting 3 goals on the scoreboard for the first time since April in the Challenge Cup group stage against Gotham.
O'Sullivan, options here. Ordonez swings it back. Speck, Ordonez. Now Pickett flies it in, back post. And we get a whistle with a body down in the box, and a penalty has been awarded. Why not? J.C. Griggs spots something in there.
You asked what else can happen in this game, and I think we have the answer.
That ball was played into the box, and where the contact happened, it was meaningless. Here it is again, right in the middle. A little bit of a hold there by Andy Sullivan, and really needless to do so. Sam Staub pleading your case, and it appears as if Ordonez will be the one that will put the ball down.
Bledsoe, no stranger to facing penalties from North Carolina.
So it is Deanna Ordonez. She scored in the 53rd minute to equalize. Can she tie the match again? Ordonez keeps it low just underneath Kingsbury for the 3rd time tonight. North Carolina overcomes a deficit. The score is tied at 3.
And that's the first career PK goal for rookie Deanna Ordonez. Kingsbury now 1 for 2 facing PKs in the regular season. Last time they won, she saved a Rose Lavelle PK. This time, not so lucky. Ordonez steps up with the right foot, slots it neatly in that far right corner. Kingsbury almost there, but can't quite get a hand on it. 3-3 with plenty of game left to go. This was totally worth that weather delay.
Well, I think we're on a goal pace of about maybe a 6-6 final here with the way that things are turning out. The first goal from Rodman was 42nd minute. 20 minutes later, Ordonez ties it at 3. That's 6 goals in 20 minutes. Well, here comes the push again to the box. There will be a handball. See the sub flash up on the screen there. Bailey Feist, 25-year-old, is in for Jordan Baggett.
Fans, as a reminder, directly after tonight's match, we have more wonderful things happening.
And this is only the 4th time this season, Michael, that we've had at least 6 goals in a game. Most in one game is 7 from that crazy North Carolina-Houston game a little over a month ago, the last time North Carolina played at home. This is definitely not your father's. This is definitely not your father's North Carolina courage, where they never let the other team score. But this is exciting as hell.
Here in the NWSL on a Friday night here in the United States. It's great to have you with us. With Jen Cooper, I'm Michael Watrang. Sitting here watching this one with you and in awe of the entertainment value we've had in the last 20 minutes. We can only hope that the final 25 equals what we just saw in the last 20. keep up if you're a coach looking at the iPad.
You're like, I don't think stats are going to help me with this game.
You have stats to look at. You have goals to look at.
Well, we talked a little bit about it in the first half, right? That, all teams had last weekend off, kind of giving time for the internationals to get back. North Carolina had the previous week off as well because of that postponement. You have a lot of players coming back into the Spirit fold. North Carolina only has a few of them back. There's good and bad to that. And I think that's what's made this kind of a more open, slightly sloppier game, right? We're definitely seeing some errors come into play. But these players are so good, they're not going to pass on that chance to take advantage of even the tiniest error. And I always love seeing, young players get their first goal, or like, Rodman, her first brace. And I love, too, that the crowd is clearly into this game.
Into this game with a team in North Carolina that has won twice in the last 5. But looking for its first regular season home win. Here's Sanchez doing some spinning. Sanchez's shot blocked.
And it's cliche to say it, but neither team wants a tie here when we're talking about the two teams on the bottom of the standings. As I mentioned before, North Carolina obviously has more games to play than the Spirit. But they've got a lot of memories of it's been a while since we've won, or a while since we won at home, or we were winning 2-0 in Chicago and gave up 2 goals late.
Ordonez lays it back. O'Sullivan taken down in the box. Instead, Ordonez clips in. Still numbers in the box. Kingsbury this time squeezes it. Well, this has been end-to-end transitional soccer, and it has been a treat.
I'm surprised a bit we haven't seen more subs because they've got to be burned by this running.
Rodman can't win the race that time around against Ryan Williams.
Williams, in just her second start this season, stepping in for Merritt Mathias, who's out on COVID protocol. He's had some good moves back there.
Ratcliffe. She'll go 1v1 against O'Hara. Ratcliffe. Well, if there's a runner over there, there is space.
It's a lovely cross. Just no one on the end of it. Ratcliffe with her trademark orange ribbon. I love that. It's got to be for having played at University of Virginia. But she's always worn that color, even when she was a rookie playing for Vlatko Nanovsky at FC Kansas City wearing royal blue, but she had the orange ribbon.
Rodman with 2, Miquion with 1. For the Spirit, Ratcliffe. Ordonez with 2. The goal scoring. Rodman. What's so impressive about her game? It's all the way back at the opposite touchline. She has 2 goals, but a willing defender. Sanchez runs in to a Courage player. Still maintains possession. Bailey.
Ordonez is up to 5 goals on this regular season, so she leads all rookies. And we should mention, most goals for a rookie.
This ball into the box. Kingsbury, sure-handed, snatches it.
Most goals for a rookie is 7 in one season. Oh, lovely floating ball from Pickett. Ordonez trying to get her head on it, but Kingsbury, she's got her hands on it.
Ordonez had a terrific collegiate career at Virginia. Mac Hermann Trophy semifinalist. That's excellent passing. Williams into space. Rodman racing back. Williams to the spot. He gets intercepted. Ordonez has always been an elite goal scorer. 15 her first year at Virginia, 12 in year 2, and 18 in 23 competitions. Her final, that's 45 career goals.
She had a huge cheering section in Texas in May when the Courage faced the Dash. All of her friends and family coming down from North Texas. And she scored in that game. That may have been her first regular season goal. I mean, how many rookies get a whole fan section at an away game?
Great future for her. But the focus on tonight's match with 20 minutes to go. 3-3. Washington has led 3 separate times, but the Courage have had responses, and not just responses in general. They have been lightning quick to come right back and level the ground. Of the 9 shots on target, 6 have strummed the strings. That back and forth goal scoring. This game has settled down here a little bit. Here's a swinging ball into the box. Pinto a touch. Kingsbury in the right place as Pinto was falling to the ground.
Ordonez, great ball into the 6-yard box. Pinto's almost there. O'Hara has her covered, but that could have been an own goal. Kingsbury picks it up quickly.
The other match has finished. Portland wins it. Sugita's goal proves to be the difference maker as the Thorns collect 3 points. And that moves Portland on top of San Diego for the time being for the top place in the standings. San Diego will have a say tomorrow against Chicago in a battle of 2 of the top 3 teams in the league. Here's Rodman once more. That's a delightful touch. A block shot though. Rodman once more. Nifty pass. Sanchez crosses it. Header angled out. Rodman goes down. Speaking of her prowess, racing back and forth.
And just like we were talking about Ordonez leaving college early, Trinity Rodman, technically she was at Washington State for a semester where she would have played collegiately, but we had the fall 2020 collegiate season get canceled in a lot of places, postponed in some places. She made the decision January 2021 to go ahead, go pro, and I think she made the right decision. We also would have seen her in 2020 in the FIFA U20 Women's World Cup that got canceled. She was one of the USA's top scorers that year. You know, we would have had a big Trinity Rodman breakout then, but I think she's like, I can't wait for this U20 World Cup. I can't wait for this collegiate season. I'm ready.
She's just scratching the surface of what she can produce for her career. In that 2020 season, she had 8 goals
Thanks for sticking around.
with the U.S., including 4 against Honduras in February. It appears as if Taylor Almer will be summoned from the sideline as Washington will make its second sub. North Carolina has not made a change yet in this match. Team that hasn't played in 19 days.
And with some of the starters that they're missing, especially Dabinia, Caroline, and Matthias, I can understand why, you know, Sean Mejas might not feel he's got the depth that he wants, especially for a match that's been back and forth like this. Sometimes you're better off with maybe they're a little bit more tired, but the team is playing as a group. You know, you're not disrupting the rhythm of the group that's out there.
Now North Carolina indeed will make their first change. Frankie Taliaferri will be called upon, as well as Kiki Pickett.
So now we'll have the picket fence on the field.
Been waiting all night to drop
Yes,
that
I
one.
have. Yes, I have. And I stole that from Twitter, so I'm not even going to say I made that up.
So Pinto sees her shift come to a close. Taliaferri coming on.
Taylor Almer. And for the Courage, stepping out the field, number 5. That is Brianna Pinto. Coming in for Brianna, number 23. Kiki Pickett. Also coming out of the 76 minute, number 7 for the Courage.
Malia Berkeley is also off. So those are your changes being utilized with about a quarter hour to play here at WakeMed Soccer Park in Cary, North Carolina. 3-all is your score.
So keeping that defensive unit intact for North Carolina, and both your attackers up top who have been very dangerous. So just making the changes in the midfield.
Nikione latches on, swings it over. Sanchez doesn't have the angle, has to track it down. Sanchez, Rodman. Bailey. Spirit are winless in the last 13 all comps. Carolina hasn't won a regular season match since October of 2021. We'll give here down the stretch. Brooks. Ordonez with a touch forward. Return to the NWSL after the international break.
I wouldn't even call it a break so much as an extravaganza, right? July ended up being crowded with so much women's soccer because of the Men's World Cup moving to November, December. So we had a few small NWSL breaks, but a lot of international games to watch.
Ordonez. This ball comes to Rodman. Rodman punches it forward. Sanchez doesn't have the accelerators on to get to it. These two teams have a winner. And all 6 of our goals scored in a 20-minute window. Washington leading 3 separate times. North Carolina bouncing back to tie it. On each occasion, fans hanging around through a 65-minute weather delay. After 24 minutes, the weather struck. Finished out the first half with a flurry.
Now this regular season, twice North Carolina has scored in second half stoppage time to change the outcome of a game. Only once has the Spirit scored in second half stoppage, but it did not change the outcome of a game.
Spirit have given up 4 goals in the final 15 minutes of a match this year. Ordonez. The pass gets intercepted. Sanchez, the target, out of her reach.
So they had originally announced that the Kiki Pickett came in for Pinto, but she actually came in for Brittany Radcliffe. So she is on that top line. We do see Brittany Radcliffe coming out. Pinto still there in the midfield. They just got a little confused between the 7 and the 27.
Here's a long distance attempt from Almer. Substitute. Ordonez. Taliaferri. Kingsbury.
Another rookie looking for her first pro goal. Kingsbury saying, not tonight. I've had enough of this. Making the run into the box. Juking around O'Hara. Sullivan's there. A lot of traffic in the box. Ball to the center. Kingsbury comes down on it.
Taliaferri spent the first 4 years of college at Penn State, wrapped it up at Rutgers. Rodman. The skill. And leads Miquion to run. Sanchez, the tap back. Rodman. Trinity Rodman. It gets headed away. Murphy was sprawling to her left. But Rodman has the game winner in her sights. She has been as aggressive as we've seen her, and you wonder how much the maturation continues to grow being around that U.S. women's national team in the CONCACAF W Championship. There's a nice run and an attempt that goes wide. Murphy didn't have that opposite post covered, and Bailey took aim. Well, Ordonez will see her shift come to a close, but it is a great shift for Ordonez. A brace and now 5 career goals. Here was the one that made it 2-2 at the time, and this made it 3-3 in the 62nd minute.
Her first PK goal for the Courage. And now she leads all rookies this season with 5 goals so far. Jorian Balcom coming in for Ordonez.
Balcom, 25 years of age, 4th professional year. Sullivan gets tied up and called for a foul. The stoppage time goals for North Carolina that have changed results this year. Both teams have scored 3 times in the final 15 minutes of matches this year. North Carolina has conceded thrice, while Washington has conceded on 4 occasions in the final 15. So we could certainly be in for something here at the end. Rodman plays it to the middle. Miquion whiffs. Sanchez gets a deflection. I think she wanted the ball back from Rodman. Didn't get the return pass. Instead, it's a long ball sent forward to the new sub, Balcom. Elmer gives possession away. Rain's starting to fall here.
Just to add some extra late game drama, make things slippery.
Well, this has been a Hollywood script type of performance between these two sides. The players involved and the goals that we've had. We get an incredible ending to this match. North Carolina unbeaten in every match against Washington this year, so far through 4. North Carolina has never led in this match, with the fans, after sitting through a 65-minute weather delay, looking to carry this team to the stretch run.
Last time North Carolina was at home, they lost 4-3. I'm sure they'd love to come out on the winning side of a 4-3 game with a late goal.
Ball certainly looked like it hit Williams' hand. Casey Griggs says no infraction. Malcolm against Brooks. Advantage Brooks.
Nice to see Amber Brooks going a full 90 in these games. She was used kind of intermittently early in the season. Picked up by the Spirit after being waived by the Reign, but she spent 4 seasons in Houston, and 3 of those seasons, Michael, she played every single minute. She is the only player in league history to go 3 straight seasons like that.
Rodman nearly pounced on a turnover. Now it looks like Carolina playing a little more direct. Washington, meanwhile, trying to build and fit some of these teams.
This is definitely NWSL after dark. NWSL after weather delay.
Rodman making the run. Not be able to get there. Pass just slightly too much pace. Glad that you've elected to stay along for the duration of this match with Jen Cooper, Michael Watrang, and our entire crew. This has been an exciting one. 3-3. Washington has held the lead 3 separate times. North Carolina has had quick responses. Will these two teams secure 3 points, or do we see out a draw? This intended for Mikion, intercepted. Weiss was trying to thread the needle. Taliaferri. Extra support coming. These collide, and a foul is going to be whistled on the Spirit. Courage will get their opportunity here on a free kick.
Seen a lot of late goals this season, or some of that is from hydration breaks, pushing, adding stoppage time. More stoppage time than normal.
Now the whistle blows. And Pickett is ready for it. Pickett's ball hovers in the air, comes to the ground. Kurtz just wide.
Love that center back getting up into the action. Already has 2 goals on this season, including the game winner the last time these two teams played. Couldn't get the clean touch you wanted. Long lofted ball from Pickett. Gets headed into the box. She tries to do a side volley, collides with Kingsbury. Ball rolls harmlessly out.
Kurtz had the game winner in the 2nd minute of stoppage time on June 11th. A 3-2 win for the Courage.
Ladies and gentlemen, the fourth position is indicated the minimum.
Mikion punches it forward. 6 minutes of stoppage time. And in a match like this, that is an eternity. We have now gone almost a half hour since our last goal, when we had 6 in the span of 20 minutes. This is a good build-up. A clearance that falls onto the head of Williams. Still not officially out of the area. Sanchez. Pressure continues. Feist. Spirit can't pull the trigger, but still providing the pressure as they reshape.
North Carolina not really clearing.
Saab does that job for him. Flies it out. In a match like this, you want to have a winner. Williams made that overlapping run. Now she gets picked out. This one to the back post. And it does get cleared away.
So close. Love that floated cross from Williams on the flank.
Kiki Pickett making that run. Now Carson Pickett into the box. There's a header! Crossbar! Pickett had her teammate in front of her. It was Baucom. Back to the box. Baucom again the target.
Pickett and Baucom knocking on that door. You can even see the whole frame of the goal moving. Cross from the left. Baucom getting ahead on it. But Kingsbury's there. Crossbar is also there.
That was a delightful strike there by Baucom.
Following the really close call by Kiki Pickett.
About halfway through stoppage time. Washington looking to take its turn at a build-up and a late push. Bailey. Bailey will serve it up with the left foot. It's a very nice run here from Andy Sullivan. Sullivan thinking. Sanchez. Ashley Sanchez wide.
Sullivan doing the hard work to set up her teammate. Don't always see the defensive midfielder come so far forward, but they want that goal. Sanchez, ball off a right foot, just too wide. North Carolina doing a good job shutting down her angle.
Casey Murphy will take this goal kick, hoping that she can waste enough time to make sure that North Carolina will be the last team to get a chance. Here's a header won, though, by the Spirit. Maybe another 2 more minutes. That one eludes Bailey. Fans backing the team now, trying to give them that extra bit of energy on a long night here in North Carolina. O'Hara doesn't necessarily hit it the way that she wanted to. Baucom holds it up long enough to win a throw with about 1 more minute to go. A foul whistled just outside of the box. Sullivan called. Kiki Pickett wins the kick. And this might drain enough time to make this a last chance effort.
Both going up for the ball. Looks like foot against ankle. Former Stanford teammates, opponents tonight. Just outside the box, Spirit has to be relieved.
This is a good old-fashioned seat squirmer here in North Carolina. 3-3 the score. Aubrey Kingsbury setting up her line of defense, a 3-person wall in check. Carson Pickett on top of the ball. North Carolina hasn't led all night. Is this the moment? Carson Pickett high. And there's the final whistle. An entertaining match, but 1 point aside. North Carolina makes it 4 straight matches without a home win. Washington, conversely, winless in the last 13. Jen, you summed this one up. A very entertaining and delightful match.
We couldn't have asked for more coming back from that weather delay. Both teams frustrated, but what a lot of great goals.
It was a terrific night here at the park. 5th time these teams have met this season. And it is North Carolina coming away with a positive result yet again. The final score in this match, 3-all between Washington and North Carolina. For our entire crew, my partner, Jen Cooper, I'm Michael Watrang signing off. The final tally, Washington 3, North Carolina 3. Thanks for watching. Enjoy the rest of your night, everybody.